So my first question for you, it's kind of like a funny one, but like in your whole football career, how many gloves do you think you ever went through?
Like pairs of gloves?
Yeah.
Probably too many to count. But I think in high school I was kind of rotating like 3 or 4. But if I give a number on it, I'd probably say like 20 pairs of gloves.
Yeah.
I've never had like one like sentimental pair, but I think I always loved to wear gloves. It was like the swag,
Yeah.
accentuated things like that. So I'm probably say like 20.
Yeah. So this one's from your high school senior year. How many tackles did you get?
Well, the thing is, I broke my, I think the conference record for sacks is at 20. I had 20 my senior year.
Yeah.
But tackles, man, I don't know. I hope over the hundreds. You know, it was a fun year though. Definitely was a fun year.
Yeah. I know in high school, I want to get into that. You won your conference, your championship, and you played Gonzaga, right? Was Caleb Williams on that team?
Yeah.
Can you kind of talk about that?
I'd love to talk about that. I'm waiting to talk about that now. But my junior year, he was a starting quarterback since his freshman year. So he was, doing his thing. He beat us my sophomore year, and he beat us again my junior year. So my senior year, we see them in the semifinals. We know exactly, what we want to do. And I remember it was a home game. It was kind of cold, but I don't know what happened, but I just went off. And I actually had 4 sacks against him in that game. And it was critical. There was a 1 4th down. It was right out of halftime. It was 23-7, and they get the ball back. And they did an onside kick to get the ball back, and then they're on the 30-yard line.
Yeah.
And we stopped them on 3rd down, so it was 4th and 1.
Yeah.
And then they do a pass play, and then I remember I just chased them down and sacked them. That was the loudest I've heard the crowd ever. It was one of the better feelings of my life right there. So.
Yeah. No, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'd definitely say the highlight of my career is beating Caleb, but I want to beat him again, obviously. But
yeah. Also, DC has some of the best football in there. I don't know if you want to talk about
nobody
that.
talks about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
not very talked about. It kind of it doesn't piss me off, obviously, but there's so much talent and so many good players that have come from that area, and it's it hurts for me to be a part of that and try to hold up the standard when nobody's really talking about it. As soon as I came out to Ohio, I felt like just everybody was talking about Ohio football because it's a big deal here, especially for high schoolers. But I feel like the talent is different, and I feel like when we play guys in Ohio, it's been like a large gap in talent. But I definitely say we've got a lot more talent than people think that we do, and I think we can compete with the best.
Yeah, it's crazy. Me being on the East Coast, I started to see it, and buddies of mine that were on the football team there, they always knew somebody. They always name drop somebody crazy.
Yeah,
and you're like, dude, he's from there.
Every time it's weird. You would never know. Stephon Diggs actually went to my high school, and we used to play against Chase Young and guys like that all the time.
Yeah.
So it's just big names are coming from this area.
Yeah. So how did you get into football yourself?
Well, I was always a big kid,
Yeah.
so it was hard for me not to do. I had to do something with my height and my size. But I remember earliest I can remember was 5 years old. I remember I joined the flag football league.
Yeah.
The parents on the other teams would get mad because I was so physical with the kids. So my dad was like, "Yeah, we're gonna put them in pads." And from there, I've been doing that every day since. Not every day, but every year since. But actually, no. There was one year because I had 2 loves growing up. It was basketball and football. So 8th grade, I remember I was like, "I'm not playing football. I don't want to do this. I just want to play basketball. I love hooping."
Yeah.
But the youth team that I was on, they told me you have a spot if you want to come later in the season. I was like, "Alright, fine." And then I had this hard conversation with my dad. He's like, "You're not going to grow up to be 6'8". You can't be with the same position you are now." This and that. So I was like, "Fine. I'll just go back to football." And then I remember I played running back that year, and I kind of fell back in love with it. And then from there, it's been my love ever since.
Do you think playing multiple sports throughout your whole life helped you be a better football player?
I think for sure, and I think that taking different parts of different sports helped me be the best player I can be in my respective sport for sure. Because there's certain elements, even with soccer, lacrosse, they're still taking themes of other sports, this zones and man and defenses and stuff like that. So I think it definitely helped me, and I think it kept me more athletic, or just quick on my feet. I like to say, because I think basketball is a very reactionary, but speed and quickness kind of sport. I kind of grew into that, and I used that to excel in the football field as well. So I think that definitely helps.
Yeah, and it also helps because I coach tennis and I help kids, and a lot of the kids are they think they're 8 years old, and their parents are "Oh, my son's the greatest kid ever," and all they want to do is play one sport.
Yeah.
You get burnout.
Of course,
I don't know.
You do a season of it, and it's bro, I need something.
You need
else.
a break.
Exactly.
If you do that, for 8 years, you're gonna hate it and never want to actually play that sport.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people coming out of high school, they fall out of love with sports like that because all they do is that sport. And it like encompasses their mind. So like when they get to a place of like variability and they can have different sports, I think that definitely helps keep them in tune, but also competitive like the game.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because like since you've been in college, a lot's like changed, you know, in college sports. My recruiting year was, you know, during COVID. What was your recruiting experience, you know, like?
My recruiting year was right before yours, but that was kind of already committed then.
Yeah.
But my experience was kind of strange because that's when I had the coaching switch. Well, just specifically for Ohio State, I remember I first got recruited by Urban.
Yeah.
And you hear all like the myths and the legends about that guy, and then you meet him. And I remember the first time I met him, I sat down. It was me and my parents. We were just talking, and then he was like doing some spiel about Ohio State and how beautiful it is here. And then he asked me a question, and I started answering. And then like halfway through, he's like, "Speak up." And I was like, "Oh." And then I looked at my parents, and they just like they couldn't help me there. And I was like, a very, I guess, humbling moment, but it made me realize who he was. But then like I got an offer like in 2018, and then he left like 2 weeks after.
Yeah.
So then I had to get acclimated to the new coaching staff. But it's been history ever since.
Yeah, and it's hard because like a lot of people, you know, in the world where people transfer, like they have that happen, they would immediately move past it.
Just go somewhere else.
So what was like? Did you just reach out to Ryan and try to build a relationship, or how'd that kind of go about?
The thing was, like, I've always been in love with Ohio State football. My parents are both from Ohio.
Okay.
My dad's from Cedarville, my mom's from Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I've been up here all Christmases, a lot of summers and stuff like that. So like I'm acclimated, and growing up watching the team, you know, you don't want to be anything but a Buckeye, of course.
Yeah.
But I think after Coach Urban left, it was like immediately like a coaching change, but at the same time, communication kind of picked up.
Yeah.
So like I remember Coach Day reached out immediately, talking about everything that happened, and then I got introduced to the new linebacker coach at that time, and we just started communicating from there. So it wasn't like they understood that they needed to pick up the slack of recruiting. I think they did a good job with that.
Yeah, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember your freshman year would have been like 2020 during the COVID season. So you were on special teams then, right, coming there. So you know, talk about like at the time, like, you know, trying to make it on the team, like developing that Buckeye culture and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely during that time, it was like being COVID, it was like a culture shock.
Yeah.
It was like everything wasn't the way it was supposed to be, but we still had to find a way to find a routine. But I think for me, like I took just like a huge step, not step back like athletically or physically, but just mentally, because like coming into a program like that, all you hear is stories and all you watch is like the entertainment side of it, but you don't actually see what goes on into it, like the everyday process of it. So like for me, it took me some time to like, you know, like take the wow glasses off. You know what I'm saying? Stop being so like surprised and just like a little giddy kid at like Christmas, you know, just like surprised by everything I see. But it was challenging because like there were so many big names on that team that year, and it was like just like watching them, it made me feel like such a spectator at times.
Yeah.
Because all I was doing was just like witnessing greatness, in my opinion. I couldn't even like fathom myself doing the same things they were doing at that time. So it was like kind of hard for me to even find confidence in myself.
Yeah.
But that definitely, you know, I think that was a testament to the growth I needed mentally, and like the maturity.
Yeah.
that needed to happen in my life.
Yeah, I feel like the freshman year is a lot too. It's like you dream about, like everyone has this dream where it's like, oh, I want to go pro, I want to like go D1. Like when you actually do that, like sometimes you don't realize like you've achieved your dream. There's time. Now you gotta like
that's when work starts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's when everything you've like dreamt for and prepared for is like only the beginning, and then you have to continue like that conditioning, that routine, and everything that puts you in that moment. And I didn't know that, man. Like I always thought like getting there, everything else would like take care of itself, but it's not even close to it, you know, because then you have to maintain that for however long you want it to be. So.
Yeah, so I want to ask the one about like injuries later, but this one, like, what do you think during that year was the biggest thing you learned in yourself?
In the injury year?
No, I'm talking about like freshman year.
Oh, freshman.
I want to talk about that stuff later.
Yeah. The biggest thing I learned, I think I learned a lot about leadership. You know, watching the guys before, like because I was in the linebacker room at that time, seeing guys like Tuff and Pete, you know, Justin Hilliard and Van Browning, so all those guys, like the way that they would like carry themselves, and like the way that they would uphold, you know, the idea of what a Buckeye football player would be. And I think it definitely taught me like more so in that moment that I have so much more to learn and to grow. But at the same time, it was just like I was there to bear witness to greatness. You know, it's kind of weird to say all that. It's like I'm giving them too much credit, but they deserve it. You know, they did the best. They were the best at the best with the best of the best. You know what I'm saying? So it was like I could do nothing but take notes and learn. You know, so I think it's definitely my freshman year was just a learning process, and it's hard. Like And I think it's more of a testament to the people who come in so early and were great because of who they are as a person. But it's not easy.
Yeah.
It never was. You know, like it's not easy to just come into a new environment, something you never experienced before, and be successful.
Yeah.
So I think in the back of my mind, I had doubts. You know, like if I really belong there, and I think that took time for me to just like find confidence in myself. But definitely, freshman year was a good time to learn.
Yeah. So like the next 2 years, like, you know, I want to, you know, there's a lot with it, but like the next, you know, you had your injuries, and like there's a while where it's like, you know, you come in, you're like, oh, I'm probably gonna be, you know, guy up. This might be starting to be my turn. And you kind of talk about like what happened with you, and you know, what was going through your mind at the time.
Yeah, I think the first time it happened, I wasn't like, I knew, and I think the coaches knew that I was a good player and I could do good things on the field, but I think the injury really took me by surprise because I've never had like a surgery or anything like that before in my life. So I was definitely just like, I don't know, I kind of use it as like a crutch not to do anything, you know, like excuse to like, okay, let me just nurse this injury for one, I need to, blah, blah, blah. But then coming off that injury, you know, all I was doing was itching to get back to the field, and we had spring ball. To be honest with you, I was probably one of the better players out there. You know what I'm saying? I was balling, and like the coaches saw it.
Yeah, it was when you started to hear your name. Like,
You know, and they started, you know, throwing me in conversations of like different positions that I could keep playing, blah, blah, blah. And I remember just like I was just ready, you know what I'm saying? But then spring game happened, and I tore my ACL and my other leg. And it was like, that first couple months were just crushing, you know what I'm saying? Because it was, all I could do was sit back and watch my friends do the things that I dreamed of doing. So for me, it was like more of a testament to how like preparation precedes performance every single time, you know? Because I think my body, like my sleep habits, like there are certain things kept me back from being what I could have been. But it was definitely like, the second one was definitely the hardest because it was like, damn, like I really should be out there, you know? And I see my friends succeeding at the highest level, and I'm like, I should be doing the same thing. But I don't know, I kind of took solace in the fact that this is like, I wouldn't say it's predestined, like it's a whole plan for me, but at the same time, I'm here for a reason, and my body's breaking down and shutting down and building back up for a reason. So I just try to be positive with everything as best I can.
Yeah. So this is like a question I got asked like a few times when people come on. I never actually asked this question, but when guys get injured, you know, a lot of times people just like retire and they're like, I'm done. Why do you keep doing it?
Oh, that's a great question. Because I really, like the second time I really was thinking like, is this just gonna keep happening, you know? But a friend of mine, Ken Babb, you know, we heard his story, all 4 ACLs.
Yeah.
Both those processes where I was recovering, I was with him like all the time.
Yeah.
And just being around somebody like that definitely like, kept me motivated to believe in myself, even against all the odds, and even against all the health issues that my body's going through. But I don't know, I think the people around me, and even like the second time before it happened, because I know what I could do, because I showed it, and then the coaches knew it. So then it was just a matter of me doing it, you know, and when I should be doing it. So I believed in myself that there was more in me. And I think injuries or not, I have a lot more intent.
Yeah. And seeing guys like Cameron kind of speaks of the brotherhood of Ohio State, how it really is like a brotherhood.
Yeah, and I think all the time we spend is like, it's hard not to become, you know, friends and family with these people, you know, like just like, it's hours on hours of just the same person every day. And, you know, if you don't like them, then you got time to like them. If you like them, then you got time to love them, you know what I'm saying? So I think just the environment I'm in is just, it's so easy to make just long-lasting friends. And I find that just a blessing, really, because I feel like a lot of places people go, they like, they don't like it and they don't mesh with it, or they're just trying to be themselves so much, only so other people can see it, and then that becomes disingenuous. So then from there, it's like it's hard to even find like commonality between the two people. But like for here, it's just like, these people are genuinely themselves. And it's like I feel like I'm surrounded by like the best group of guys. It makes it so much easier to come in. Like we had a week off before today because of the July 4th and everything. I remember it was just like itching, and there's days where I don't want to go to like the facility and work out. There's days when I want to just go home and sleep. But like that week when I was off, like, all I wanted to do was see my guys, work out with my guys. Like today was like a great day, just be back in the facility. So.
Yeah. So now you're healthy again. What's it like getting out in grass and just I know you were kind of shut down for like the spring game stuff just because like the injuries and stuff, and they knew who you were.
Yeah. Definitely during the spring, I would suit up and then make me feel like I was healthy, but I knew it wasn't. So I think that was a smart thing for me to do. But now, because we do like workouts and sprinting exercises and things like that, I don't know. There's a little bit of doubt sometimes because you don't know because these like injuries were split second and they happened so fast that I couldn't even like correct and change it, just like adapt.
They also are pretty freak acts.
Yeah, I mean, you know, people say the turf is fucked up, so they changed the turf both times I got injured or whatever it was. Can I curse? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can.
I was supposed to say. Yeah, I don't know, man. Feeling like what I feel now, I just look. I want to feel good.
Yeah.
And there's times where my body is like still aching and pain, but like overall, like I feel as though this is the best I've been since I've been. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just itching, you know, looking forward to putting the helmet on and like actually going out and doing things that I need to do.
So I saw so you came in as like linebacker. Are you now a D or what did you classify? I saw Jack. They might throw you in there, and what would you say?
Yeah. So when Coach Mills came in, they had this position called the Jack at Ohio Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
So they thought I could be good, well suited for it because of my pass rushing ability. So that's what I tried out that first spring before I got injured, or the second spring before I got injured. And you know, I was doing really well at this, so they're like, well, obviously you want to keep that as a you know an option for the season. So, but I think because our numbers aren't like low at the end, but they still like rotation wise they need other bodies, so then I started playing some and to just help out. But I think definitely for the season I will be trying to utilize that role of Jack, because that's kind of what I was doing in high school, you know, and doing all this or having all the success I had, like just feeling very comfortable. That's like kind of what I'm starting to feel again with that position. So I'd love to. I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest, with the position, but I'd love to play that position for sure.
Yeah. Plus the defense is like a lot of guys are coming back and stuff. So.
And the same thing with last year. I think a lot of guys who came in this past year were hoping to have us like a role, but then all the guys came back. But they still will have a role. But I just think we're a really good team, and I think our defense is like all the guys coming back is different.
And it's crazy because a lot of guys that just never see the field, they'll go to another school and lose. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. Like Jameson Williams.
Yeah.
From
I think Caleb Brown just went to Iowa. So.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if they passed enough for him, but he's a good player.
Yeah.
Sure, I remember watching him in the spring. He definitely did some good things. But yeah, it's crazy the place we're in. It's like ultra competitive, but not even with other teams, with ourselves. You know? It's hard to even just like understand your role when there's so many other people fighting for the same role. So I think it's crazy.
Yeah, this was kind of like it's kind of a hard question because I know like Buckeye Nation's great and everything with it, but does it ever get a lot with like all the reporters and people like on you guys? Does it take away from stuff, or is it not as bad as you think?
I think it'll amplify the experience for a lot of guys, but I find myself just like fascinated by like the mentality of some of these guys who are bored. And I need like Twitter when you go on.
You see so much just fake.
Yeah, and then it's like the people, all they do is like try to assume and like gather information that they think they have to like help people out that don't have anything. And that's the thing, like these are like people who are trying to feed into like the idea or the feeling of the person who's watching it. And the people who watch us on TV only get like that one small like iota of entertainment, where we're like 365 days a year fighting our lives off just to be the best, so we can not just please those people, but at the same time they play a part in it because those are our fans. And it's crazy how like it will be the smallest thing and they will just like badge you. You know what I'm saying? And they will hold it against you. And
they also don't realize they're like 18 and 21.
And exactly, they're kids. You know what I'm saying? And all they do is look for others and approval and validation from others. And then all these people are doing, they're tying them or tearing them down because of the mistake they made in the game. And they're supposed to have fun in. So I think that aspect of it is very ugly to me. I'll be honest to say that. I think that I can't blame them because they don't understand, but at the same time they act like they do. And for that just like it makes me mad a little bit. But I understand the reporting thing though, because I feel like across the country a lot of colleges have that, and it's like that's their job. So when I put it in that perspective, I understand they have a job. But if your job is to stalk 20-year-old kids, maybe you get a new job. In my opinion, that's just me.
So I want to go like a little bit in the season. First, like, what do you think it's gonna be like? Have you ever thought about like your first experience back out there, putting a helmet on and stuff?
Man. I've thought about it for sure. I've joked about it. I hope my mind is at peace in that moment. like my pregame routine, I definitely just, try to play calming music or things that are just like calm my mind down. Because you get so ramped up. Even when I was injured, like I'd be hyped. You know, I'd like walk around on the field and hit something. You know, but I think the way in which we execute perfected, like in a perfective way, a perfection type of way, is by keeping our mind at bay. And again, I don't mean to rhyme, but keeping our mind like at ease and calm. And I think that's a big part of how I continue to hopefully stay successful. I hope I will be calm in that moment, but I know emotionally.
Yeah, especially it's all a long time coming.
Long time coming. 2 years in the making.
Yeah.
2 years in the making.
Yeah, no, and also like the schedule's not easy at all. Like away at Michigan, away at Notre Dame.
Yeah, a lot of those games. But it's like I think our training time has built us for that.
Yeah.
We understand what's ahead of us.
Yeah.
What we need to do, but I think those challenges are just a testament to the work we've already put in. So from there, we should have no worry or fear because all the things we've done to get there.
So like week of like game. So like what's your guys' week look like, and if you kind of go into that.
Yeah. So we have Monday off, like practice wise, but the guys are gonna come in and like build the game plan for the team. And then Tuesday, Wednesday we have like our padded practices, which is like our big day. Be physical and like translate that to the field. And then Thursday we have like just a helmet, like a shells kind of practice, or no shell, just helmet practice. And then it's like really like more technical, like with our footwork and our assignment, things like that. We're just getting ready for the game. On Friday we have Best Fridays in the nation. We do like games and stuff, and then we have a big walkthrough, and then we go to the hotel and get ready, or whatever the case may be.
So since you've been like with Ohio State, I was gonna. Who do you think are like your top 5? Like, I mean, it might be a hard question, but like guys who've like had an impact on you and stuff.
Because you only do it with the 5, it's like some others.
It's a hard one. You don't have to, but like.
Nah, I got to, man. For the sake of the interview, man, I got to.
Or you could just say, why the guys have, or like what is that?
Okay, give me a second. I'll probably say like the guys. I'd say Cam Babb first because of what he's like the impact he's had on me, but then my friends for sure. I think they made this place a lot better than it is. Because not a lot of people say Columbus is a destination, but like the people around me made it beautiful. I'd say my roommate Cody, my other friend Jalen Reese, Tommy, Steele, and Kay, those are my guys, and Jacob, Josh, Enoch, because we were all in this house a year ago. We called it the bar house because I had like a bar in the kitchen. It was a weird house. It was a huge house. It was strange. There was 8 guys in it, including me, and at all times it was just like good vibes. You know what I'm saying? Guys just like always together, doing stuff together, like getting closer together. And it was a very good moment. And like those guys that I mentioned were always in that house. It was there, so we got really close with each other. So I'd say those guys.
This is one like. Since I've been in college, it's big now, but I saw like NIL and different things like that with you. Can you kind of speak on like, what it's been for you and like what you see?
Yeah, I think I have a different perspective of it because a lot of people like yourself probably see it like as a money-making process that everyone benefits from. You know what I'm saying? But I've realized that it's really dependent on what you do on the field that'll determine like or who you are, just like socially. Like if you have a big following.
Well, yeah, I have people that I know like that have complained a lot about because it impacts what they can do, and then they're always like getting talks from people, and they're like always people and they're here to do this, and just like limit. Like obviously they're making money, but it's like limiting how they are. So that's what I was wondering about.
I think the idea of it and early on the practicality of it was very beneficial for athletes, and I think it's helped them navigate a world in which they could provide more earlier than they probably could have, which is awesome. But again, I think it's very picky in a way. I feel like it's like certain people benefited from the most. And I think that's kind of like unfair to those who probably put in the same work but don't have the same opportunity to just get on the field and shine as though they think they can. But I think overall it's great. But if you have like a different perspective of it, you can see how it's becoming a little superficial. You know what I'm saying? I think it's like the things that don't normally matter to football players are starting to matter because of what the NIL impact can be. You know, like how many followers do I have on this, or what's my revaluation if I have more Twitter followers, and it's like it's the whole.
Yeah, they lose like track of, you know, the bigger picture.
Like what matters.
Yeah.
I mean, money matters, and money doesn't. Definitely talk. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's just it weeds out like the good and the bad of people. Like you see what kind of a person they are when they're just like either seeking money or seeking just deals and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. So I have a couple last questions. I don't want to take too much of your time up. Have you thought about like what the next step is, you know, for you after football, or is it, or are you still like, you know, what is like in your mind right now?
Yeah, the dream definitely is to do football as long as my body will hold up. But I've always loved movies, and I never had a chance to fine tune it into like a marketable opportunity. But if anything, my dream is to be a movie director.
Yeah.
And just make movies for the rest of my life. That'd be amazing. Because I'm telling people this a lot. Like the movies, the ability that movies have in invoking emotions is something like second to none. You know, I do nothing but cherish that every time.
I mean, that's one of my majors. It's literally film media.
I'm going back into school to get an undergrad in film. I'm about to graduate this December, but I'm going back because like I should have done it originally. You know, because like it's like when people say like work doesn't become work when it's something you love. Bro, like I love movies. Like I can see myself doing this for the rest of my life, and I'm like studying it, you know, writing papers. I have no problem with it because I love it. I have so much to talk about it, you know, about. You know what I'm saying? So I think I definitely would find out and like just create.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Like I was going into pre-law, and then like after my first semester, I hated all my classes, and I was gonna do a minor in film, and one of my professors like, you should like consider like what I'm doing with this and just other things, like making a career because like you love it. And I was like, yeah, like he's like, just don't do something because you want to make a ton. Like do it if you like actually love it. So I switched to marketing and film media, and this is what
here we are, man.
We're here now, bro.
Podcast on the couch. That's awesome, man. I think the best thing about like movies and even film is like there's so many different routes you can go, create, and find your love in, like specifically.
Yeah, no, there's also like different things, and like movies speak different like to everyone. Like
for sure.
Like Field of Dreams is one of my favorite movies, and it's because like before my grandpa passed away of cancer, like we had one last catch, and that was like, like you know what I mean. Like there's things like that where some people don't have that, but like that was why, you know, movies speak different to like anyone.
That's a testament to it because like it could move you in different ways. Yeah, and you could have different past experiences that like bring into movies that they like remind you of, and then you're just sitting there crying in front of the TV.
Yeah, no.
You know, that's I think that's what's so beautiful about it. You know, it's like you can just really create something that is like unique and also similar to a lot of people, and they all find a way to connect with it. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I do like every night before I go to bed. Just pop, even if I'm asleep, I just fall asleep to one.
I fall asleep.
Just throw it on.
I do it all the time. Like a little like just not white noise, but definitely like something in the background. It's just like and especially if I've seen it, you know, like I'm like waiting to see new movies, like the new Oppenheimer, even Barbie. I'll go see like I'm gonna see some new movies for sure. But,
all right, so this is I did not plan on asking this, but I was actually doing it with my buddy. This putting you on spot top 5 movies of all time.
You know, I'm always there for it. But the thing is, like as soon as you ask that, like
you think of another one.
Exactly, and then I'm gonna get in the car and drive away, like God, I should have said that one movie.
Yeah.
But right now, I have like 3 off the top of my head. Definitely. 2 Spider-Man movies. I'm just saying that because of recency bias, but those the animated movies were amazing. Interstellar, Ocean's 11, the Way Back. It's like kind of gas movie. What's the other one? I'd probably say The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
That's a great movie.
Where they connected with me.
Nice coming age movie.
Oh my god! And I love those kind of like coming of age, like emotional movies. But there's definitely one that I'm forgetting.
Like you know, like 16 Candles and all the that.
Oh yeah, my sister loves it. Like you know, like Breakfast Club, like
all those coming age. Those things are fire.
Yeah. What about you? What's your favorite?
So my favorite, I'm big in my favorite's Dark Knight. I love it. Just because Heath Ledger, like, he literally became the Joker, and, like, I feel like it's one of the best acting performances of all time. Field of Dreams is my favorite sports movie. Rom-coms, definitely, maybe. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yes, rom-coms are underrated.
Dude, they are.
Oh my, have you seen Sleeping with Other People?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one a lot. It's probably my favorite.
Yeah, and then comedies, probably Anchorman. I just love the fight scenes, bro, and just the stuff like that.
That escalated quickly, it's hilarious. You like TV though? Like TV shows, like.
Yeah, I'm a TV. I like TV.
Movie guy.
I like movies, but like I'm a TV guy. Like I was watching the new Jason Segel thing on Apple Plus. I forgot what it's called. It's good. Oh, Shrinking. It's good. With Harrison Ford. I suggest that. It's a good show.
I don't know if you like it, but this show called Atlanta on Netflix is good. Oh, Dave.
Oh, Dave. Dave's good.
Dave is real good. Oh, I mean, it's kind of like a cartoon. You've probably seen it though. It's
Yeah.
been up there.
And then another cartoon. I like BoJack Horseman.
Oh yeah, but it's not even like. I mean, it's animated, but like it's some deep themes in there. You know what
No,
I'm saying?
it's not like it's like
Not
an
too
actual.
friendly. Yeah.
It's like an actual. It has like storylines. It's like
It touches on like,
yeah.
mental illness and everything
Yeah.
like that. And I think that's the crazy thing about like creativity and like the whole like TV shows, movies. Like it could just like be so like unique, and it could like be in one subgenre, but then it could just evolve into something
No,
different.
because you look at it and you're like, oh, it's just like funny, and then all of a sudden they can use it that to hit on
Make you start crying
deeper
like 20
topic.
seconds later.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. No. So this is my last question. I always ask. I always finish off.
Okay.
So it's a deep one. But when your football career is over, how do you want to be remembered?
That's a deep one. I want to be remembered. I don't want to be remembered. Give me some time with this one.
No, it always takes a while. 'Cause it's a hard one.
I don't know. Of course, I want to be remembered as like one of the greatest. I think that's why I did it. But I think when I think that, I just think like the accolades, but also like the perception of it, and people just praising me, and I'll be seeking that out. But I just want to be remembered as a good teammate for sure. I think when people like remember, even like I always thought about how I remembered as a person. I think that's more important for me. Just like to understand that I've made a positive impact on people. Like I remember I was watching this like. I don't know if it was a documentary, it was like a clip on TikTok about Troy Polamalu, you know, that whole year when he was like the captain of that team and that defense, like he was like, he felt like he wasn't even deserving of that. And then and his teammates were like, that's all we saw. It was like, you were our leader. You know, and I think that's like a beautiful thing about the sport we play. It's like the people's perception can just build you up and it's something you thought you never could be.
Yeah.
So I think that'd definitely be something I want to remember.
Yeah.
Something better than I think of myself.
Yeah, no. Well, I really appreciate you coming to my house.
This is
and
great,
doing this,
man. I'd love to do a podcast. You know, the podcasts are fun. You know, you just sitting around just like talking. And I think sometimes for me in my position, it kind of turns into like an interview. And I get that 100% because you want to know my perspective. But I think just like a calm conversation, you know, with somebody, it's just like very wholesome.